I said that for anyone who might have been listening. Oh, God. You know where you are? You're in the jungle, baby. Brought to you by NFL Shop.
Thank you for the reminder. Go get those. I think you're going to like this one.
Nice. Christian McCaffrey's out tonight. Man, I knew it. This is fantasy years down the shitter. Having the first pick never works out for me. I did not hear that, though. Oh, there's my notification from ESPN right there.
Yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like license was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose move on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never to sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning is crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yes, everyone. It is Victory Monday, and welcome to another edition of the Main Event Football Show right here on the Villain Squad Network, brought to you by NFLshop.com. That's right. The Villain Squad is an official marketing partner of NFLshop.com. You want to get one of them sweet black jerseys? Do it and use our QR code. Use our code NFL24 and get 25% off of your order of any NFL gear. It's the Main Event Football Show. I am Mike. I am your host, and we are here talking about the 2024 NFL season, and the Detroit Lions are 1-0, baby. after an overtime victory against Matt Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams at Ford Field yesterday. And great way to start the season. The game was in the balance right to the very end. Lions prevail in overtime. They win 26-20. Put it in the chat. Tell me what you think. We are broadcasting live right now into Facebook on Lions Villain Squad. And we're also broadcasting live into YouTube at Villain Squad and at JC Sports. Also broadcasting live into Detroit Lions News Podcast. My bad, going out of order there. Big tip of the hat to Joe Chapp and the boys for letting us broadcast into that network. Wherever you are tonight, be sure to put something in the comments, say hello to us, hit an emoji, like, heart, something, puke emoji. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Also, NFL Huddle Sports Network on Roku TV. We are broadcasting live with Bill the Packer fan and Mike the Bear fan as well. Hello, everyone. Great Victory Monday. It's a great day to be a Lion. We got some great people in the gallery as well. Dwayne is in the house. And Corey is in the house. Good to see you guys. Jonathan, always great to see you. Elise Memes in the house. We'll get to all your comments in just a minute. Just wanted to say hello. And let's talk about this football game, huh? 26-20 Lions come out of the gate 1-0. The Packers, Green Bay Packers, the only team in the NFC North to lose in week 1. And their quarterback, Jordan Love, of course, the big news goes down. Sorry, guys, this is only a weekly show, right? I'm only here Mondays to talk about this stuff with you. So Jordan Love goes down. They're saying 4 to 6 weeks. All they have is Malik Willis. They're calling up Sean Clifford. The Packers go down on Friday night, 34-29 against the Eagles. There were some bright spots for the Pack. There were some good-looking spots on defense, but then there were some real shoddy-looking patches on defense. They were up and down in that game. Jordan Love looked good at times, looked pretty crappy at times. Then he goes down on the second play to the end of the game with a sprained MCL, is what they're saying. Sprained MCL, and the prognosis is 4 weeks for that. We'll see how that goes. More on that later. Bears go down 17 at halftime, come roaring back and win 24-17. Glad to see. If you're a Bear fan out there, put it in the comments. You need your day in the sun. Your quarterback didn't play all that great, and you're really catching a lot of hell for it. But hey, you won. Don't let the haters get the best of you, because this is a 3-phase game, and on defense and on special teams, you guys dominated, and you blew my lock pick. I had Tennessee as a lock, and at halftime, I was preparing all kinds of stuff I was going to type up, but you came back. Kudos to you. You not only won the game, but you covered the spread as well. So Chicago, not a joke. With that quarterback does get more reps under his belt, they could definitely be a problem. Minnesota Vikings put it on the New York Giants as well. In MetLife Stadium, they win 28-6. And Sam Darnold looked like the second coming of Tom Brady. At one point was 10 for 10. And him and his gigantic cinder block head bobbling all around back in the Meadowlands where he played with the Jets. Very familiar with the stadium there. And they put it on the Giants pretty good. I get you. I get it. It's the Giants, but this is on the road. It's an NFL team, and they dominated. They didn't just win. They dominated. So, with the Packers maybe being on a downward turn without good quarterback play for the next 3 or 4 weeks, some of these other teams in the NFC North are going to get a chance to move up in the stands. It's going to make the climb for the Pack even harder when Jordan Love does come back. But hopefully by then the Detroit Lions will be running away with it, because they beat the Rams 26-20 in overtime. Matt Stafford back in Detroit threw the ball an astounding 49 attempts, 34 of 49 for 317 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. They came out slinging the ball, slinging it. First possession, a 3 and out, all passes. Lions come out on their first possession, also 3 and out. These teams, folks, I'm telling you, were evenly matched in the box score, just like they were in the playoff game last year. The quarterback ratings, Yes, the Rams had an edge in passing yards, but the Lions had an edge in rushing yards. 163 yards rushing for the Lions, only 83 yards on the ground for the Rams. So that disparity makes up for. I'm telling you, these teams were even. Usually I like to give you stats that are like team stats, like first downs and penalties and time of possession. But it was so even, there's nothing to report. Whatever one team had, the other team had about the same. These teams are really even, and it made for a compelling, excellent start. What a great game. Put it in the chat. Tell me what you think. Was this not just an awesome game? Even if the Lions had lost it, we'd have a lot of things to point to. Oh, they were rusty. Maybe they didn't get enough preseason snaps. It doesn't matter. It was a damn good NFL game last night. I was on the edge of my seat. I was proud of our team. Kevin Zeitler, great interview today with the media where he said basically nothing, but it was still good. What he said was, hey, there was some rust. I loved hearing him say that. There was some rust. Got to clean some things up. Darn right. They are aware of it. They know what they got to do. It wasn't pretty in that first half on either side. But you could say that about any NFL team in week one. Damn good game. Put it in the chat. I want to know what you think. I'm not doing this all by myself either, folks. I do have help. I couldn't do all this. Look at all them cool graphics and shit you keep seeing pop up on your screen. You think a knucklehead like me does that? No, I don't do that. I got the wizard behind the glass, the one and only Mr. Russell Wayne on the program.
Yeah. This is Mr. Wizard. You can call me behind here. And if Christopher Walken was here, he'd say the wizard is a guy that can make magic happen.
Dwayne Keene says, what a game last night. We made the plays that matter the most, and we won the toss in the overtime. I know Matt Stafford can't even win a coin toss in Ford Field. We cooked the Rams to the end zone for the game-winning touchdown by D-Mont. I love it. Great call out. Elise Reeves says, hey, Mike, Villains, what an amazing week one. Couldn't agree more. Jonathan says, Bears got lucky, but didn't look good, in my opinion. No, they didn't look good, but they won that ball game against a tough Tennessee defense. They come back and won that game. Will Levis looked like ass. But watch, next game, Will Levis will look like Tom Brady again. This is how this kid has been ever since college. He does some amazing, wild things and makes Sports Center highlights. And then at the end of the year, you look at it, and he threw more interceptions than touchdowns in college. So, boom or bust with him. And they knew that when they drafted him. It's why he didn't go in the first round. But now they shipped off Malik Willis, and they let Ryan Tannehill go. And Ryan Tannehill might be the new quarterback of the Packers with Malik Willis backing him up in the topsy-turvy world we live in. But I love the comment, Jonathan. Thank you. Jason says, congrats to the Lions fans. Once again, what a dogfight. I always love seeing the Stafford versus Goff rematch. And that's Jason. That's a Vikings fan, folks, telling you what a good game that was to watch. I agree 100%. Corey in the house says maybe Green Bay should call up Suckfeld. Oh, you just nailed it, Corey. That's going to be my next meme tomorrow morning. Hey, Green Bay. Hey, Green Bay, I heard Suckfield's available. Oh, I love that call. Thank you. Davey, one pride. It doesn't only take more, it took more. It did. You got to give kudos to that Los Angeles Rams defense, I think. Their offensive line was beat up. They easily could have got blown out in this game, but they didn't. Jared Verse, Braden Fisk, the two rookies from Florida State, look like the real deal. 2 sacks in the game. Verse gets one of them. Also, Byron Young, the young defensive lineman, gets a sack on Jared Goff too. So these guys are young, and they're hungry. They brought it, dude. They brought it. The Rams brought it. And they were out to win that game and get revenge. And the Lions, I love the way we won. I felt PTSOL creeping in at the end, didn't you? When they got the ball with 4 minutes left. They got the ball with 4 minutes left. And we were able to get the ball back with 2 minutes left and win the game. Send it to overtime and win the game. So, easily, we could have lost that game. Whether you call it rust, whether you call it no preseason snaps, whatever. You had a new secondary and some pretty talented receivers. By the way, Puka Nacua this afternoon, just a couple hours ago, sent to the injured reserve list for the Rams. So if you got him in fantasy, they say that is a PCL. Well, I don't even know what a PCL is, but an ACL and an MCL. It's a PCL, which is a lot less severe. They say 4 weeks should be the maximum for Puka if you have Puka Nacua in fantasy. Cooper Kupp had a great day against the Detroit Lions secondary, against Terrion Arnold. So what a nice challenge for the rookie corner for Detroit to have to face Cooper Kupp, one of the best in the game. And when it comes to route running, one of the best in the game, he has the biggest route tree in the NFL. And he's more in sync with his quarterback and his coach than just about any receiver in the league. What a challenge for the rookie Terrion Arnold. And he did well. He came in third on the team in tackles with 8 tackles, a couple and 1 pass breakup. He had a couple of penalties that cost the Lions as well. But that's growing pains against a veteran wide receiver. All in all, he held his own. You can say he didn't by looking at Cooper Kupp's stat line. 14 grabs, 110 yards, and a touchdown. But here's what you're not seeing. Those were all easy passes to the flat, folks. I think he only had one pass more than 12 yards, which is Cooper Kupp's career catch average is over 12 yards per carry. In his incredible record-breaking season of 2022, he had over 13.5 yards per carry. Last night, Terrion Arnold limited him to 7.9 yards per catch. So I keep saying per carry. It's per reception. 7.9 yards per reception. Terrion Arnold, damn good job. I like what I saw. Rookie in his first game on the big stage, Sunday Night Football. He showed up. If that's what we're going to get out of him, you just wait till he gets some more reps under his belt. Russ, what did you think of Terrion Arnold against Cooper Kupp?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to come to his defense a little bit because, if you look at the stat line, giving up 14 catches or, whatever that crazy stat line was. But, I want to give Cooper Kupp more credit than I want to take credit away from Terrion Arnold because that one catch that you were talking about that was over 20 yards, that was the most beautiful on any defensive back on planet Earth, the way he did that toe drag catch over. That was just beautiful wide receiver work. So I got to give Kupp more credit than I got to take credit away. And Terrion Arnold, a couple penalties. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. A couple of things that he can learn from, but it wasn't that bad of a first outing.
No, not at all. Brent's in the house says, hey, Mike Goff and Stafford had the exact same QBR of 85. Just goes to show you how even these teams are matched and what a great matchup it is. We might see them again in the playoffs, but if that offensive line keeps going the way it was last night, that's probably not going to happen for the Rams. Aiden Hutchinson was abusing that guy on the end with 11 pressures. Only got home once. CR Mayo in the house says that D-line looked way better from last year, and that was without DJ Reader, CR. That was without DJ Reader. He'll be back this week. He'll be back for the Buccaneers game. Levi Onwuzurike gets the start on the D-line next to Aleem McNeil, and Marcus Davenport on the other end opposite Hutch was a good look. They were getting pressures. I know that it was a mass unit of an O-line they were going against. But Jonah Jackson's no slouch in the middle, and they were getting pressure up the middle as well. Levi Onwuzurike with a half a sack. They gave Davenport the other half, which I was a bummer. I was hoping Levi would get the whole sack on that. It was great to see his name in the box score, just to see him out there, and he started a game. Aleem McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike drafted number 2, second round and third round, lined up out there to start a game, to start a season, just like Brad Holmes drew it up. A lot of people wrote Levi off. A lot of people came on this very program and said that he wouldn't even make the team. To see him out there and start after the great stuff that AG said about him was really great to see that. Absolutely. Elise says, I'm so proud of our team. So proud of you guys too. You and Russ are killing it. Oh, Elise, that's so nice of you. Thank you. Elise is the queen of memes. If you like a good meme, check out Elise's page. Right on. Dwayne says, Alex, Davenport, Gibbs, Aiden Hutchinson, J-Mo, David Montgomery did their thing to put this game to bed. Great call. Dwayne, let's talk about Jameson Williams for a minute. Waymo. I like Waymo because it's Waymo better. I think we should just stop calling him J-Mo altogether and just call him Waymo. When he signs his signature, he signs it Waymo because this kid is Waymo. Career high in receiving yards, 121, 5 receptions, and a beautiful touchdown on a beautiful double move that froze Tre'Davious White so bad that he had to grab him by the waist to try to slow him down, take the penalty, which was declined. And then Waymo, does the awesome rodeo dance in the back of the end zone. I was going bananas. We tried to do the villain cast here on our YouTube channel. It didn't work out too well, so I had to sit here by myself in my room, watching by myself, screaming at my TV by myself. It was strange. It's been a long time. Jason MC says, Cup is a dog. Corey says, I was giving Levi criticism, but gotta actually see more. Actually see more than you did last night. I get that. But now DJ Reader's going to be there. So what we're going to see is Onwuzurike in a relief role, in a rotational role. And that is huge. When you look at games like last night, having fresh legs in the fourth quarter and overtime is huge. Being able to get to the passer or being able to push the defensive line on the offensive line, you got to have depth. What do you think about that pass rush last night, Russell?
Well, I was going to make a comment on something else, but I will comment on the pass rush because I've already taken a peek at the PFF grades, and like all of them played well. All of the guys played well. Levi Onwuzurike, they all had over 70 pass rushing grades. Aleem McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, Aiden Hutchinson was a bear last night with like a 95, like one of the highest grades. I'm not going to get into the details of that because we're going to save that for PFF Tuesday, where you get to interview Jeff Risdon from Lions Wire.
That's right.
That one.
That is the Villain Report every weekday morning at 10 a.m. with Russell Wayne as your host. Tomorrow I'll be a special guest. We're interviewing Jeff Risdon from Lions Wire, who is the beat writer for the Detroit Lions for the USA Today. And that's what Lions Wire is, in case you didn't know. And he's going to be on the show tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. We're going to ask him some probing questions. And guess what? You'll be able to ask him a question too. I don't know if we'll be able to convey your question because it might be a stupid question, but you are more than welcome to put it in the chat. And like always, we may or may not read it on the air for Jeff Risdon to answer. So we're excited. That's tomorrow morning on the Villain Report, 10 a.m. right here on the Villain Squad Network.
Excellent, Mike. But I wanted to make a comment here just on, it was a comment I made earlier on my show about Jameson Williams. It's like, if Jameson Williams didn't have a breakout day, I would say that they may have a recipe out there to stop the Detroit Lions offense because they were able to bracket Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta, and they were able to contain those middle passes. But what happens with that is that you need to dedicate personnel to do that, which left Jameson Williams, Waymo, on all the way on the outside, all by himself on an island, and Tre'Davious White didn't fare very well in that. So it's pick your poison. Week one villain is Jameson Williams as far as the villain squad is concerned, because you can stop one of them, but what happens is you get the one-on-ones. And if Jameson wins the one-on-ones, they didn't stop the Lions offense. They just stopped part of the offense, and they made you pay with the other part of the offense.
God, such a good call out. The Rams defense said, Amon-Ra is not going to beat us like he did last year in the playoff. He's not going to get every 3rd and 8 like he did last year in the playoffs. They took that away. To Russ's point, it's a great point. And this team, we just goes to show you, then Waymo has his career day. They took away the middle of the field. Their linebackers played outstanding. Corey Reeder, that kid was everywhere yesterday. The Lions found a way, and then when it came to the fourth quarter and overtime, they took them out to the deep water, and they ran behind the strength of that offensive line. We saw Dan Skipper coming in and out all game. I mean, rotating these guys in and out. They're still fresh and bulldozing on that overtime possession all the way down the field for David Montgomery. David Montgomery, guys, okay, a 3.6 yard I'm sorry, a 5.4 yard average per carry last night. And he had more than 4 yards before contact. Jahmyr Gibbs, 11 carries, 40 yards, but he averaged a respectable 3.6 yards per carry average. So the dominant running game just allowed the counter for everything the Rams defense wanted to do. Everything is the running game is the great equalizer, folks. In any scenario, if you have the lead and you need to kill the clock, you run the ball. If you want to open up your passing game, you run the ball. You've got to have that element to your game if you're going to be an upper echelon team in this league. And the Lions have that. And to get the win on a game they easily could have lost makes me feel pretty good. All right, let's go to the comments. Russ, did you have something else you wanted to add?
Yeah, well, like the slide says right here, this was an opportunity to see that whole overtime performance right there. I mean, I love giving David Montgomery running really, really hard. I really appreciate that part. But he's running hard behind these guys right here. Those offensive linemen took the game over in overtime. There was no doubt that they were going straight down the field. 8 runs out of 9 plays and just ran it right down their throat. I can only imagine the Lions den with those guys running it down their throat. They were probably going crazy over there doing that. And, kudos to the offensive line finally getting to eat, because that's what happens when JMO goes off on you. Then you got to bring the safeties back. Well, then you open up the middle of the field again. And look what happens. David Montgomery runs all over you in the overtime period. I'm out.
Nice. Dewan is in the chat. He says, I remember people was calling JMO a bust and a thug. Now he's Waymo. No more negative comments about him. I've never called him a bust myself, and I would never allow anyone to call him a thug. But I'll tell you this. He hasn't lived up to a number 12 overall pick yet. Even if he puts up top 10 wide receiver 2 numbers, which he's not even ever come close to. If he even puts up that, then is he still worthy of the top 12 pick, a number 12 overall draft pick? I love Waymo. Don't get me wrong. I think he's exactly what this team needs. But when it comes down to it, he's not going to get wide receiver 1 money here in Detroit as long as Amon-Ra is here. I'm not saying anything bad about him, but I appreciate your comment. Let's put it up there again. No more negative comments about him. Oh, I see. You're telling me don't say anything more negative about him. Okay, got it. Fred says, what was Monty's longest run last night? I think it was 12 yards. It wasn't like he had one solid run to boost his average like Swift did. Monty was a bowling ball through there. He wanted to run him over. He ran angry. Yes, he did. Looks good. Oh, I do want to say, folks hated him. Now they love him. That's how fickle NFL fans are, Dewan. You're darn right. They love you one day, hate you the next. Look at Deshaun Watson, for crying out loud. Whatever happened to that guy? And here's something no one's talking about. Jake Bates under pressure. Way to go. Scott Smith with the great post right there. Jake Bates, they put the game in his hands to send it to overtime, and he delivered. And he delivered on another field goal attempt as well. 2 for 2 in his NFL career. That's awesome. And I can't ever recall a kicker, maybe Sebastian Janikowski, with more fanfare coming into a year than Jake Bates this year. Even guys like Jake Moody, who get drafted early as kickers, they don't have the hype around him that Jake Bates did coming out of the UFL. It's been incredible. I'll raise my hand right here. I was a Jake Bates detractor. I'm still not 100% sold. You know, I want a guy that was like Harrison Butker, 33 of 35 for a whole season in the NFL. Let me see that. Then I'll be on the bandwagon for Jake Bates. But until then, he was 21 of 28 in the UFL. And he missed an extra point in the preseason. So it's hard to have a lot of confidence. I do like what Dan Campbell has belief in him. But how far does that get you if things go bad? What's up, Russ?
3 for 3.
Oh, he was 3 for 3 last night. Good call. I like that.
On the season.
Right. Ken, I love this call out. Was it me or did I notice several Lions losing their footing on our home field? What's up with that? I know, right? And that one touchdown where Carlton Davis, they sent Kupp in motion and he slipped. And it seemed to happen to Carlton Davis a lot. Carlton Davis second on the team in tackles with 10 tackles yesterday. And if he hadn't slipped, he'd probably had 13 or 14. And it wasn't just him. There was a lot of slipping going on Ford Field. I felt like it was the Brazil game all over again. What is up with that? Did we not get enough practice time on Ford Field? I mean, their practice facility in Allen Park is an indoor stadium, or an indoor practice facility, which is supposed to mimic the field conditions of Ford Field, but it's not exactly the same. Things like humidity and things like that. How much synthetic? There seemed to be a lot of those little rubber pellets falling up off the turf more than usual, it seemed like yesterday. I think that's something the Lions are definitely going to look into, though, and I'll tell you why. Because all over social media today, they are talking about it. They're talking about the field conditions at Ford Field last night. And the announcers just kind of glazed over. They didn't say anything. But the fans caught it, and they've been buzzing all day on social media. Speaking of social media, go over to our Facebook page, Lions Villain Squad on Facebook, and give it a follow if you're not doing so already. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel at Villain Squad on YouTube, at Villain Squad. That's our little YouTube channel trying to grow that baby. And we're also in partners with JC Sports on YouTube. You can find our content there as well. Really appreciate everyone being here with us on the first main event show. You're watching the main event football show on the Villain Squad Network. It's our first show of the 2024 NFL season. We are here every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we bring our bad opinions, and the sun god shines upon us for it. I want to hear your bad opinions. Put them in the chat. This is viewer-driven content. I do have some things to talk about, though. Let's just bask in this Lions victory for a few more minutes, and then we'll look ahead to next week to the Creamsicle Pirates that come to Ford Field. And don't forget to go to NFL Shop, get your new jersey, get a new hat. And if you do, you can use our code, get 25% off. We don't get rich off it, but it does help our page because we are official NFL Shop affiliate marketing partners. Without them, we wouldn't be able to say that on this show. I wouldn't say without them, we wouldn't be able to be here, but we'd still be here because of people like Fred Peterson. Chris Collins, worthless, brought it up during the game. They asked Bates about the pressure on the kicks. He says, yeah, it takes it seriously, but there will be kicks I miss. It's going to happen. On to the next one. Okay. And that makes you feel better? I know that's what everybody's narrative is. It doesn't affect him. When he misses a kick, it doesn't affect him. That's everybody's. Can we just break that down for a minute? I want a kicker that doesn't miss kicks. I get Dan Campbell doesn't really need one because he doesn't kick that much. By the way, Dan Campbell only went for it on fourth down once last night. Kudos to you, Dan. He was 1 for 1. Sean McVay, on the other hand, was 1 for 2 on fourth down last night. Oh, Dwayne, yeah, you're right. Demoni's biggest run was 21 yards. Oh, my bad. Elise says she's been watching the replay of the game all day. I love that. We are going to talk about that Jets and Niners game, which is on tonight. It's 7:31 right now. We're going to have talk for about 25 more minutes and get off so we can all get ready for the game. We know that's happening. Ken says, how many times did the Rams hold Hutch last night and to miss the obvious tripping call during important pass completion by the Rams? For sure on that trip. That really kept the drive going. I think that was a third down completion. We were looking at shutting them down. And they scored on that drive. That's
Don't
a great
you
call.
love? I mean, I wanted to come in and chime in on that part right there because that is something that happens in every single Lions game. And here's the difference. It's like we're usually talking about these as reasons that we lost the game, being like, oh, man, if they wouldn't have called that, we'd have still won the game. This team overcomes the bad shit that happens. I mean, there was Terry Arnold had a couple bad penalties yesterday where they were about ready to get off the field. One of them was on a 4th down. And it's like bad timing penalties, but you have to move on to the next thing. Just like Jake Bates said, like it works for the defense too. It's like you got to be able to move on to the next thing when you make a big mistake like that. And they made some big plays, man. That Kirby Joseph interception in the end zone cannot be understated right there, how big that was in that moment to stop them from getting any points, let alone, a guaranteed 3. Maybe a different outcome if he doesn't intercept that ball.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't really pretty all the time on the secondary. Fred Peterson here with some scathing remarks about Aaron Glenn. His personal bad opinion is that he supported Aaron Glenn through the seasons when many didn't. Today, I'm questioning AG's secondary decisions. Why are we allowing them to play catch between the 20s when we now have the personnel? I mean, I get what you're saying there, Fred. You're saying we drafted these guys that play press man. We brought in free agents that play press man, but yet you still see us playing zone. But, and this is what the announcers kept talking about last night, how Stafford and McVay, they send guys, they use motion to unveil your coverage. And they see what you're doing, and they know if you're playing this, we're just going to do this. And if you're playing that, then we're just going to do that. So it's what it comes down to then is in that great video, what Dan says, what do we do? Pursuit and tackle. Pursuit and tackle. The 2 things we want to do the most. Look, man, pursuit and tackle. And that's what we did. Like Russ said earlier, Terrion Arnold, he gets the guy down. Sure, he gave it up. So you're kind of in between a rock and a hard place there, Fred. When your quarterback, your wide receiver, and your coach are in sync and they know exactly what you're doing, no matter what you do, all you can do is react from that point. And how do you play from that point? So it might look like they're playing catch, but just like every team, every game, every week, the offense takes what the defense gives you. You take what they give you. That's it. You hit them where they ain't, like your little league coach used to tell you. And that's all that is. That's why it seems that way. What the Lions didn't do was miss a bunch of tackles, which they used to do in the past. What they didn't do was overrun a lot of plays, which they used to do, Jared Davis. They used to overrun a lot of plays. What they did do was slip a lot, and that cost them. But other than that, and a few mental lapses here and there, they did good enough to hold down a very potent offense and a very explosive quarterback who we know firsthand can throw the ball all over the yard. So there it is. Lions win 26-20. Next week, hopefully we're right here on this program talking about a win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who come to Ford Field next week. Russell and I will be at the game, and we will be going live updates from the game. But we won't be showing the game, NFL and YouTube gods and Facebook people. We won't be showing the game. But we will be at the game, cheering on the Lions, and we'll be back on this program on Monday talking about it. Another playoff opponent for the Lions coming to Ford Field, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, coming off a big win against the Washington Commanders, 37-20 yesterday. Baker Mayfield was the best quarterback of the weekend, had the highest quarterback rating. Here's his stats from yesterday. I get it's the Commanders, one of the worst teams in the league. I get it. 24 of 30, though, folks. That's extremely efficient. You're bordering on 80% completion percentage. Okay? A lot of stuff out of the backfield, but they run the West Coast offense style. 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of a ridiculous 146.4. Baker Mayfield coming to Ford. You know who could use a guy like that? The Cleveland Browns. Yeah. If Cleveland had a quarterback, like Baker, imagine with that defense. Woohoo! Wow. Baker Mayfield tore it up against Washington. He's going to come in looking for revenge. He had a pretty good game in Ford Field in the playoffs. Lions were just too much for the Bucs that day. The crowd was just too much for the Bucs that day. Todd Bowles loves to blitz. He's a blitz-heavy guy, just like Brian Flores in Minnesota. And both of those teams got beat twice by Jared Goff and the Lions. Because against the blitz, Jared Goff is one of the best statistical quarterbacks in the league. And then these knuckleheads get on social media and goes, yeah, but he sucks against the blitz. What? Who told you that? What did you tune into some dinkwad podcast who told you that and you didn't check it out for yourself? Go check it out. You'll find out that's not true. Jared Goff, one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz. Ask Brian Flores. Yeah, maybe that's what they're talking about. But with this Detroit Lions team, with this offensive line and these weapons around him, he's one of the best. Ask Todd Bowles. And they come in this week, and they're going to have to do something. We had a nice question in here. I think it was by Ken. What do you think about this Tampa Bay defensive line as compared to that Rams defensive line, which full of young guys who really brought it and really gave our offensive line a run? But our line held. They do have Vita Vea in the middle, who's big, and he's tough to run on up the middle. But if you remember, the Detroit Lions dominated the run game in both games against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. We also have Carlton Davis on our team now. Don't think that doesn't mean anything. What do you think about these Buccaneers coming into Ford Field this week, Russ?
I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think that they play a lot like we do, and I think that, believe it or not, Baker Mayfield has a lot in common with Jared Goff, where I think they're both underappreciated commodities from their former place, and they're both in a new spot where they can get some new things going on. But don't undersell this Rams defensive line, guys. They did lose Aaron Donald, but they had two very, very good young rookies from last year. And then they draft Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, two of the top defensive linemen, and not having tape. This is something that Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell talked about. If you don't have tape on these guys, then it makes it even more difficult, even though they're only college guys, but they can't go back and look at them going up against NFL competition. So I think that that's sneaky good advantage right there. And they took advantage of that because they were able to get pressure at the beginning. But once our great offensive line figured out what was going on, they turned that around. And there was no question that the offensive line won the battle against the Rams. And at least against this Tampa Bay team, there's some familiarity there, that defensive line. We may actually have the advantage in that way because they don't know about Davenport on this defense. They don't know about, and plus we're going to get DJ Reader. It looks like DJ Reader's going to make his debut at the game we're at, Mike.
Yeah, we were there. First DJ Reader game as a Lion. That'll be great to be able to say. I love it. Love it. We got Steve in the house. He's a Packer fan. Says Lions, Vikings, and Bears win and congratulate to all. Thank you very much for that. And then Fred rubs a little salt in the wound and says, congrats on that Fighting Irish win. Oof. Sorry, but all Michigan Wolverine fans are pretty silent this week there, Steve. So you're not going to hear it too much from me. Hey, our good friend Chad is in the house, says Terrion Arnold looked way better game one than Cam Sutton ever did last year. He looks like he is the real deal, and Anzalone looks solid. Anzalone did look solid. In the first Rams possession where they went 3 and out, Anzalone had one out in the flat for no gain and 1 tackle for loss, 2 of the 3 plays. He just came out on fire. And this might be what we're seeing with Jack Campbell. We noticed Jack Campbell yesterday calling defensive plays. In game one, we thought maybe there might be a transition, and maybe there is. But I definitely saw him making adjustments on the defense. I saw Jack Campbell doing that. Maybe that is freeing up Anzalone to play more free, to play more fast. Very, very interesting. Thanks for the comment, Chad. Good to see you in here as well.
I want this one right here. Are we overselling Rams 20 points here? Because I feel like the narrative with people are like, oh man, we need to get this thing. I mean, put that second, but are we really overselling? This was an explosive offense in the Rams. This isn't the defense, but this is an explosive offense of the Rams that we held to 20 points, guys. Are we overselling how well Matt Stafford played against us? Are we overselling how well this this offense played against us, they scored 20 points, and that includes overtime.
Absolutely. And you get a fourth down stop. You get an interception in the red zone, in the end zone. Those kind of things is your defense showing up and stopping a good offensive team. A lot of good takeaways here. That's a great call out, Russ. Jason's in the house. He says, Anzalone, a couple of seasons ago, I thought they should let him go, but yesterday he was great. He's just great. He's gotten better and better every year. Led the team in tackles. Got better and better every year. He's a true leader, and they love him. The coaching staff absolutely loves him. His teammates love him. What a great locker room guy. What a great guy. The letter to the fans that Anzalone wrote after the Niners game last year. Oh, man, I'm not ashamed to say I cried. I had tears in my eyes. It was so good. So sincere. What a competitor. I love that guy, Anzalone. That guy's one of my favorite Lions. No doubt about it. Got great hair, too. So let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming in. They got a running back named Rachaad White. Last week, he had 75 yards on the ground and 30 yards receiving. So he had over 100 all-purpose yards. A lot of catches out of the backfield. They also have a rookie backup running back named Bucky Irving. Bucky Irving, folks. Bucky Irving had 9 carries for 62 yards, including a 31-yard beauty. He averaged 6.9 yards per carry. Bucky Irving. Run to your waiver wire and pick up Bucky Irving. Maybe.
Not for this week.
What else you've popped in? So does Bucky Irving worry you?
Not even the smallest bit. There is a very good chance that we're going to get some DJ Reader this week. And I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what name your running back is. You are not running on this Detroit Lions defense. The Rams didn't run on this defense. That's really the kryptonite of the way that we match up with the Bucs. They match up with us like being able to have Mike Evans be Mike Evans and that maybe in the pass game, but nobody runs on this team. Who runs on this team, Mike?
Nobody gets over 100 yards on this team. You know who runs on this team? Justin Fields.
Yeah.
He runs on this team.
Well,
and you know who else?
Cool.
Brock Purdy. It's always quarterbacks that run on this team.
Right. Yeah.
But I think hopefully
we can contain that this year. I think that's
speaking of running quarterbacks, the Detroit Lions with 163 all-purpose rushing yards, none of them as beautiful as the 7 yards by Jared Goff to get a first down. He looked like he was running a 7.5 flat 40.
That's right.
Looked like he had a piano on his back. And I could, while he was running, I could actually hear da-dum, 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 and he gets over the line for the first down. It was beautiful. I know every Lions fan was going crazy. I was by myself, but I was going crazy. CR says Goff's run was epic. It was a 7-yard run for a first down. It was epic. He went over his yearly rush total in one play.
Does that mean they're going to start working on that RPO? I mean, it's a threat right out of the backfield. Look, you better watch out. Goff might keep it.
Yeah. What a great play that was. I also liked that, yeah, their defense held Amon-Ra to 3 catches and 13 yards. And if you'd have told me before that, Laporta would have 4 catches for 80 yards and Amon-Ra would have 3 for 13, and I would say maybe we don't win that game unless we just ran it ridiculous. But it was Jameson Williams, the real story. He was given the game ball, I guess, but the coaches didn't give him the game ball. They gave it to Jared Goff, I believe it was, and Goff turned around and gave it to Waymo. And Waymo said after the game that that's the first time in his entire life, high school, college, pro, that anyone has ever given him a game ball. I thought that was extraordinary. Never got a game ball before. Love it.
And that's it. The 3 for 14, Mike. It goes with that Ben Johnson playing the trick, man. He's playing chess out there.
Right.
Hey, if you put me in this situation, I'm going to do this to you. Oh, if you want to block that, I'm going to do this. And that's how we define the villain every week. Like, it's Jameson Williams was the villain during the regular, the first part of the game. He was the one that was killing them on the plays because they were covering the middle of the field. But then when they had to switch up, when they went into overtime, they had the safeties trying to block pass, and we just ran it right down their throat. I mean, pick your poison. David Montgomery became the villain in the overtime period. Did whatever he wanted. They had to protect the pass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Brian Branch, as expected, all over the field, playing that free roaming safety spot. And I think we just scratched the surface of it last night. BB with 8 tackles. Let's see. BB had 7 tackles, 3 pass deflections, and 1 tackle for loss. That's a good stat line for a safety, folks. Kirby gets the interception, but it's Brian Branch that really showed up in the stat line here. Chad says, how many times did the Rams even throw Branch's way? Well, Branch doesn't play corner, so you don't throw a safety's way. You throw a corner towards a corner. Safety is help over the top. But I get what you're saying. He was shutting it down back there. Jason says, I forgot to mention the Dallas Turner sack, immediate contribution. Yeah, that kid's going to be great, man. He gets a sack in his first game as a rookie. That one pick there, Jason, saved Quezzy's job, I think. And I noticed that you said earlier in this chat, I did read that as it was going by. You said, in Sam we trust. Good God, Jason. Let's not go there yet. Sam Darnold. Let's not go there yet. Look, he only came into the league when he was 20. He's got a lot of arm talent. He played on some terrible teams. He could be the guy.
He can stick it right next to his Josh Dobbs jersey.
It could be that now going into his 7th year? Is he going into his 7th year? Yeah, I think so. 6th or 7th year. And now he gets it. Maybe now the game has slowed down for him. Maybe now having a coach like Kevin O'Connell and weapons like Jordan Addison and JJ out there, they're going to get Hawkinson back week 6 or 7.
You could put it next to your Nick Mullins jersey.
Whatever. He says, in Sam we trust. Come on.
Sam,
you're gonna get
Sam Darnold.
You're gonna get you're gonna get a t-shirt says, in Sam we trust. I don't know, man. There's not room for that guy's head on a t-shirt. He looks more like a mascot than a player. That's all I'm saying. But he could be the guy, and that's legit. He was drafted number 1 overall for a reason, just like Jared Goff. A lot of people wrote him off. People are already writing Bryce Young off. You might as well consider that kid as, according to everybody and their mother, that kid's a bust. Zach Wilson, number 2 overall pick, a bona fide bust. He did beat the Packers last year, though. That was fun. Was that the year before? Sorry.
They got a game tonight, Mike?
There is a game tonight, Russell. It is the New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers in Santa Clara, California. 8:15 kickoff. Aaron Rodgers going home. A Northern California native. Grew up a big 49ers fan. Really pissed off that the Niners didn't draft him. They drafted Alex Smith instead. He carried that ship with him all his life, all his career. And that's why the Niners always beat him down in the playoffs. Probably.
Playoffs?
The Niners record, Aaron Rodgers' record against the Niners in the playoffs, I think, is 1-4, 1-3, 1-4. He only beat him once.
Is Christopher Walken a Jets fan?
Leonard Floyd knocks him out of the game last year on the first series, and now Leonard Floyd plays for the Niners this year. He'll be suited up across from Aaron Rodgers, the guy that made the tackle where he ruptured his Achilles. That'll be interesting. Christian McCaffrey, not going to play, according to one of our viewers in the chat. I don't know that. I quickly looked on my phone when I saw that, and I could not confirm that McCaffrey wasn't going to play. So I'll be rooting against the Niners, as you should too, as any good, respectable Lions fan. I don't care if we're rooting for Aaron Rodgers or not. There's a first time for everything. Let's all root against the Niners because we want to get that number 1 seed to come through Motown.
That's right.
Russ and I do picks every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. on the Villain Report. And we do one pick called the Lock Pick of the Week. And if you've been following this page for the last 3 years, you'll know that Russell Wayne is called the Swami because he is batting over 75% on picking his lock pick of the week. We both went 0 for 2 in our lock pick this week. Russ had the Houston Texans to cover 3 points at Indy. They only covered by 2. Tough loss, Russ.
You start the do? That's Vegas for you, baby.
Yeah,
that's why it's
tough loss, brother. 0-1, but that definitely was a good call, I thought, for a lock. I had mine, Tennessee. They had a 17-point lead, came back and lost 24-17. So we're both 0-2. For the week, if you were on the Thursday morning show, there were 15 games picked. Russ picked 7 correctly. I picked 8 correctly, which never happens. I never beat Russ. And I am just a smidge over 50%. He's just a smidge under 50%. The best handicappers in the world are at 55 or 56%. So we're right there. We're not doing bad so far. But 0 for 2 in the lock picks. Tune in on Thursday morning for us to give you our picks again. And if you ride with us, you might be on the plus money side. CMC is inactive tonight, is what Fred says.
He is inactive. That sucks for fantasy football guys.
Look, CR Mayo, look at this. Russ, I want you to take this comment here. Throughout the offseason, I've consistently emphasized the need for an X receiver. You and everyone else, CR. Every Lions pundit, every disgruntled fan out there saying we need a big body, a guy outside the numbers. We need an X receiver. That has been the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
And Antoine Green was waived. Donovan Peoples-Jones was waived.
Mm-hmm.
And they rode with J-Mo as their number 2. What do you think about that comment from CR, Russ?
5 receptions for 121 yards and a touchdown.
What more do you want your X receiver to do?
I mean, I want him to burn outside corners like Tre'Davious White and score touchdowns. That's
right.
What I want. And I mean, are we thinking that Jameson Williams is a small guy? I mean, he may be skinny and fast, but he's 6'1", guys. He isn't some 5'9" receiver like Khalif Raymond here or Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is a couple inches taller than those guys. And what do you want from your outside receiver? You got this receiver that can move from the outside. You can put Jameson Williams in the slot. You can have him do end arounds. He is a weapon out there, and he's going to continue to be a problem. And they do have 2 X receivers on the practice squad that are going to be practicing. One named Allen Robinson and the other one named Tim Patrick. And, I mean, what is an X receiver going to do for you?
Right.
I mean, with those guys. I mean,
right.
Give you a big target in the red zone.
Yeah, jump balls, right, down the sideline.
5 targets in a game, maybe.
Right. Those are low percentage plays anyway. I'd rather have J-Mo on a stop-and-go route
right,
than DeAndre Hopkins on a jump ball, one of the best 50-50 ball catchers in history, because it's a higher percentage play. Sometimes, though, you do need that play. I get it. And we don't have that guy. Or do we? Is that guy on this team? Like Russell said, Allen Robinson, Tim Patrick, that's exactly what these guys are. You send Tom Kennedy down, you bring one of them guys up. Could be.
Yep, Tim Patrick is the guy they brought in for that. I mean, I think the only reason he's on the practice squad is because of that reason, is because they got to teach him the offense.
How about this great call from Fred? How can we have that X on the deep passes when Goff cannot hit them in stride? It is what it is. Just play to what we do have and don't push what we don't. Right. If there is a chink in Goff's armor, maybe that is it. Accuracy on the deep ball. Being able to hit them in stride. If you think that that's one of his weaknesses, then you don't want to play to his weakness, right? You want to play to his strength, which is reading coverages and being accurate over the middle of the field, which is exactly what he does. So I like that call, Fred.
Do you think that Goff had a bad game? I guess that's a good question that we can throw out there. Because is that the narrative? Did Goff have a bad game?
I think Goff did not have a great game. Jared Goff was 18 of 28. That's not great. For 217 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and a passer rating of 85. So
right around 60% passing.
Below league average in completion percentage. Yep. Below his personal average in yards. Against a not top 10 defense. So, yeah, he did not have a great outing. But you can say that about every quarterback in the league at some point. They don't have a good game all the time.
It's like, I would say, did you watch the game when it comes with that? Because, he didn't have a great outing, but I didn't see him making the mistakes that were, like, costing us. There was a couple close calls. I mean, I guess if you want to call a couple of the close calls, the interception was a ball that was thrown to a contested area. Amon-Ra St. Brown had just as much of a chance to get that ball as the interception guy. So it's like, 18 of 28 is not great. It's on the lower end, but like bad game, I would say maybe average to below average game, but he didn't need to do anything. I mean, the offensive line took over the game in the overtime. And I remember when they were running a ball, it's like, do that until they stop you. It's like the highest percentage play you can do. Off tackle run. Well, do that shit until they stop you from doing that shit.
Right. And you've got Penei Sewell over there.
Yeah.
Just run right over him. Run right behind him.
Pass it if you can hand it off.
For sure. And J Mommy in the house. What's up, J Mommy? She says, I don't think the Lions had the right cleats for the turf. There was a lot of slipping. And then maybe there is something to that, J Mommy. Maybe they didn't get enough reps inside Ford Field to get ready. I think the Lions were slipping more than the Rams, it seemed. They were losing I noticed it more, that they were losing their footing more than the Rams were. So hopefully that's something that the Lions can correct. I love it. You have been watching the Main Event Football Show. We appreciate everybody who is watching live, and we appreciate everybody who watches on the replay. Go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're not already. We are going to be bringing a lot of great content over there. We will be back right here with this program next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, as the Lions season rolls on. It's the Main Event Football Show. Put me up there, Russ. For Russell Wayne, I'm Main Event Mike. God bless each and every one of you. Peace out.
Hey, yo, the lies so that you never make it. Hopeless, so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose what I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it, maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never to sway me. Indigenous.